Looky, looky what I got. Huh? We're about to have so much fun.
Yeah, you guessed it. Now I can be anywhere. Look, now I'm in space. And now I'm in Florida. Hey, look, it's a Chili's next to an Applebee's, next to a Chick-fil-A, next to an Olive Garden. That's amazing.
I could even go back to the ballpark where it all started. The sights, the smells, and the sounds. Oh God, what is that?
Hello? Okay. May, get hot. Thank God, I'm just a YouTuber.
So that happened. Welcome back to another edition of Baseball. So if any of you don't know, it'd be very surprising if you didn't. Shohei Ohtani is currently in the midst of a very big scandal. This isn't just a normal betting situation. This is debt incurred to the tune of $4.5 million. You may be thinking, wow, interpreters make bank. I didn't know they made money like that. Well, they don't. But do you know who does? Shohei Ohtani. On the day of Shohei's first game as an LA Dodger, the news comes out that longtime friend and interpreter Ippei Mizuhara has incurred $4.5 million in debt to an illegal bookie in California for betting. Evidently, Ippei then gave a 90-minute interview where he tells the story of debts incurred that Shohei knew about and that Shohei paid for those debts out of his own account, out of a favor for his friend, and then later in the interview, he proceeds to backtrack and say that he stole the money. Now that's a head scratcher to say the least. Now, as you can imagine, Shohei is approached by every media person on the planet in order to get clarity on the situation, in which he then declines to comment after it was publicly put out from his representatives and a team of lawyers that work for him that they are accusing Ippei of theft as well. So now we have that lining up, even though it didn't line up at the beginning. Shohei then declines to speak with the media for a couple days and then gets in front of everybody and gives a statement. That statement doubles down on the theft allegations. So it seems that moving forward, this is going to be taken as a very serious legal matter. So the plot is thick. It's so thick, it's thick, like Thanksgiving gravy. So, wait. Okay. This is very confusing. There's a lot going on. And fortunately, it just so happens that Rob Freeman, aka Pitching Ninja, is also a lawyer. And he gives a pretty clear and concise explanation about what could be happening and what could possibly happen moving forward. Denying something is something everyone does. Accusing someone of stealing while also cooperating with authorities and pressing charges creates liability for you if you're knowingly falsely doing it. Libel, malicious prosecution, etc. And it's also something that's pretty easily verified once there's an investigation by authorities. Your attorneys wouldn't let you give a statement like that if it's not true. And also, plenty of stars have been scammed by the people they trust. You wouldn't do that unless you were very confident that it was the truth and that falsehood wasn't going to be found. So either you have a airtight story that's a lie or it's the truth. You would not do those things because now you are opening yourself wide open to legal proceedings for if it turns out to be a lie. Not only is it not going to work and you're going to get in trouble for that first thing, you're also going to get in trouble for the lie. No lawyer would take this chance if they weren't very confident that this is the truth. So many questions. How did Ippei get $4.5 million and how did Shohei not know about it? Depending on the level of trust, these guys who make this much money, they don't think about it that much because it's not something they need to think about anymore. That's a common rich guy problem. So they usually have somebody else handling a lot of their conversations like this. This happens all the time. There is a money manager, someone who wants to verify these purchases were made, and then over time, the assistant becomes kind of a proxy for the athlete.
Yeah, hey, is this Jimmy? Yeah, it's Chad down here at Crypto Kings Unlimited Worldwide.
Oh, Hey, Chad. Yeah, I'm Trevor May's financial advisor. Oh, did Trevor just buy Frodo's house from the Lord of the Rings? Yes. Does like those movies. Seems legit. By all accounts, Ippei was filling a role similarly to an assistant because interpreter there's a lot of overlap there. So it's absolutely possible that he was transferring money, he was being asked by the financial team, and he would just say, yeah, Shohei said it's okay. And that's that. And now let's hope Jokic drops 50 tonight. Or he just said, hey, Shohei, we're transferring this money to this thing. 500 grand's going over here, and we have this business deal and blah, 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 blah. There's all kinds of things he could attach that money to that wouldn't raise a red flag in Shohei's mind, especially if he doesn't pay attention. The guy literally took a $700 million contract and deferred $680 million of it. Like, that is not somebody who cares about money. That is literally burning $150 million. Another possibility is that Shohei just gave it to him. We do tips, guys. There's a tipping situation. You tip guys all over the place that help you with things through the season. It just happens all the time. Clubhouse staff, security guards, chefs, all kinds of stuff. And they're usually associated with the team. Ippei is employed by the team, and he does pretty much everything for Shohei. So could a $500,000 tip been something that he got 1 or 2 years? Absolutely. Can you just transfer straight to this guy so we don't have to do all the tax, blah, blah. There's all these things he could have said in order to make it seem like a rational ask. Those are also possible. It's not crazy for people of this net worth for these types of things to happen. So was it a bonus? Was it a tip? Was it just hey man, here's a gift? And then there's the possibility that Shohei just is a gambler and he's covering for him, and Shohei likes to gamble a lot. Now, I don't think this is likely because if you love gambling, it's very hard to keep it a secret. Pretty obvious the guys who like to do betting and that don't like to do betting. Obviously never on baseball, just betting in general. They like to bet people oh, I bet you can hit this shot, whatever. How do you pass time during a baseball season? That's something that's very common. So the guys that like that and the guys that don't necessarily participate. It's pretty clear. And if he never does that at the field, there's a very low chance that he has this crazy gambling problem where he's losing millions of dollars. It seems like a big conspiracy, a lot of work. And like I said, if that were the way it were happening and then he took this path of, hey, you stole it all, he's just opening himself up for not only being banned from baseball, but being banned to prison. I don't know about prison, but one guy who thinks that's pretty possible is our guy, Pete Rose, who couldn't help but pipe in.
We were talking about the current goings-on in baseball right now, and Pete wanted to mention something.
Well, back in the 70s and 80s, I wish I'd have had an interpreter. I'd be scot-free.
There you have it.
Man, I could have just pinned it on him and got away with it. Interesting. What is with the all-white Cincy hats? I understand the Cincy hat thing, but all-white? Does anyone remember buying all-white hats when they were a kid? Remember that stuff you had to spray all over the hat just to get it to not get dirty as hell and then have it just not work at all? You go out one time and all you have is 3 fingerprints on the bill from that one time you adjusted it? Maybe he's got a lids sponsorship. I actually hope that's true. That would be the coolest damn thing I ever heard. So why did Ippei first say that Shohei helped him out and then change his story? I think he realized that, oh no, I am now implicating Shohei. And that was actually, my goal was to not implicate Shohei when I gave this interview. And so he backpedaled quickly after that realization. Or Shohei knew and then they decided together to take this route. But that, again, that doesn't really make sense. Had they talked about it, had they known about it and talked about it and saw this coming, why would then Ippei get his story wrong first and then change it? How would he forget immediately? They could have been caught with their pants down. Who knows? Again, all of this is conjecture. We're just going based on the facts that have been put public at this moment. And the other reason for the change in story is probably that Shohei's just super innocent, literally innocent, and is just way too trusting. I just trusted Ippei to take care of a lot of stuff, and Ippei took advantage of that. It's not guaranteed to be true, but a lot of that is just associated with human nature. You want to trust people. People don't want to think the worst of others, and Shohei seems like a pretty trusting guy, and the fact that he might have been taken advantage of wouldn't be as surprising, I think, than maybe other people getting duped or scammed by something like this. Now, there's a great article on sportingnews.com from Stephen No explaining some of the possible outcomes or what are the next steps of the situation based on whether certain things are proven true or false. What kind of criminal charges could Shohei Ohtani face? If Ohtani knowingly placed bets California is very clear that it does not allow sports betting, but that is not the crime Ohtani should be worried about. The federal government doesn't charge for the underlying crime. It's mostly fraud or bank fraud or wire fraud. So it'll be a financial crime as opposed to like a illegal gambling crime, which in a lot of ways is more serious. But if Ohtani did not place the bets himself, he could still be charged with conspiracy. That is defined as an agreement between two or more people to commit an illegal act. So if he just gave the money to Ippei to place the bets on behalf of himself, or even gave the money to Ippei knowing what Ippei was going to do with the money, but not participating personally, both ways could result in a conspiracy charge. Not good. Then what happens with the MLB? Today's video is presented by Focus Fuel. Do you like candy? Do you like caffeine? Well, I got you covered. Focus Fuel is a brand new energy gummy made with green tea and only 2 grams of sugar per serving. It's delicious. You can control your dosage, is what I've been using it for. I wanted to rely on caffeine just a little bit less. I'm able now with Focus Fuel to take just a little bit at a time and get to the point where I'm good and I'm happy with it, and then stop without having to guess about how much is in the drink I'm having. They come in 3 delicious flavors: electric blue raspberry, watermelon, and fruit punch. Fruit punch is my favorite. Right now at thefocusfuel.com, you can get 10% off your order with code BASEBALL. That is my code BASEBALL for 10% off your order. And I hope you enjoy your treats. Baseball does not want Shohei Ohtani gone. He is the baseball darling. I've spoken to ad nauseum about this, about how he is basically fueling this money machine out of Japan that is unlike anything we've ever seen before. Him and Yamamoto together on the same team, it's just too lucrative for Major League Baseball, and I think the last thing on the planet they would want is have to suspend him or, God forbid, ban him from baseball. Now, I don't think that's going to happen, but it is a possibility at this point, and that is terrifying, I think, not just to the Major League Baseball and the commissioner's office, but to fans alike. We love rooting for Shohei Ohtani. He's easy to root for. And as a fan, I feel those same sentiments. So here's what I think at the end of the day. Here, in conclusion, I think it was most likely an over-trusting situation. It was a classic small bets here and there. It gets out of control. And once you're beholden to someone who is doing bookmaking illegal, especially the tune of millions of dollars, that's when real danger and fear starts to be attached. That is just what I've gleaned from watching The Sopranos and a lot of CSI. Once you get into debt at that level, you can get desperate. If desperation happens, you start to do things and betray trust, because there's something in our brains to keep ourselves safe, and we'll do anything to stay safe. So I think it was a snowball, and it was rolling downhill, and I think that's what got us here today. But we will see. So don't be surprised if this is an Ippei taking a lot of the brunt of the situation, because it's in no one's best interest that Shohei is in trouble. I hope that is only the case if that's what happened. And so now here we are, you with all the facts, and me wearing a different shirt. So what do you think? What do you think happened? What do you think is going to happen moving forward now that you have all this information? And maybe you've heard some other stuff since this all broke, because it took me a couple days to make this video, because that's how videos work. Let me know down in the comments, as well as this time's baked good chocolate chip cookies. If you would like a link to the recipe that I used to make my perfect chocolate chip cookies, they are perfect. Trust me, then type recipe along with your comment, and I might just oblige. So that concludes the video. Make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss any videos in the future, especially the next video, where I'm going to go into a deep dive talking about why free agency is absolute trash right now. That's coming soon, and I will see you next time on the Trevor May Baseball Channel. Good night.